Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Richard O'Connor, a retired physician who became interested in UFOs back in 1988. I know that my interest in UFOs began in 1988 because that's the year when I first met Dr. Jesse A. Marcel Jr. At St. Peter's Hospital here in Helena, Montana. He and I were not only medical colleagues, but over the years that we worked together, we also became close personal friends. So when Dr. Marcel told me about his and his father's experience in handling and closely inspecting the debris from a crashed UFO in Roswell, outside of Roswell in July of 1947, then I knew two things in 1988. I knew that UFOs stemming from a non-human intelligence were real. And I knew that I was living in a country whose government was lying to its citizens about what happened at Roswell in July of 1947 when a crashed UFO was recovered by our US military. What I did not know in 1988 is that I would be waiting another 35 years for our US Department of Defense to tell American citizens the truth about Roswell, which they still have not done in a proper official manner. Instead, they have chosen to leave all of us hanging in a constant state of cognitive dissonance about UFOs while doing everything possible to dissuade American citizens away from the truth that, as Dr. Marcel said many times, we are not alone. But this is not why I'm creating this video clip to reach out to you. I'm doing this to tell you about a couple of experiences that I've had recently that illustrate why it is critically important that we, that is every American voter, make UFOs a political issue for the 2024 election. So prior to this most recent congressional recess, which, by the way, ends today on September the 5th, 2023, I contacted one of my representatives in the US Senate, Senator John Tester, to ask if he would be willing to meet with me, with retired United States Air Force Captain Robert Salas, and with Dr. Joan Bird, author of the book Montana UFOs and Extraterrestrials, to discuss the UFOs versus nuclear weapons issue. Captain Salas, who in my opinion is an American hero, had agreed to fly to Montana at his own expense to brief Senator Tester in a face-to-face meeting about his firsthand involvement in that by now well-known incident when a UFO disabled 10 nuclear missiles controlled out of Malmstrom Air Force Base, which is very near here, in March of 1967. Captain Salas was there, acting as a responsible launch control officer when that event happened. This is another extremely important UFO event that the Department of Defense has never seen fit to properly inform American citizens about. They would apparently rather keep us all living in the dark under the constant threat of nuclear annihilation than tell us the truth about these several incidents that have occurred in which UFOs of non-human origin have temporarily disabled our nation's nuclear weapons on several occasions at several different nuclear weapons installations. When Senator Tester's staff person responded that she would be back in touch with me about arranging that meeting, while also explaining that Senator Tester's priority during this congressional recess would be to bring in his farm harvest, I understood this, and I patiently waited to hear back from Senator Tester about when the four of us might be able to meet. I offered to drive the three of us up to Big Sandy, which is the town nearest to Senator Tester's farm here in Montana, to save him the 3-hour driving time to Helena, Montana, nearby where I live, to meet with us. Well, that meeting never happened. I was contacted by Senator Tester's staff person a couple of days ago who told me the senator would not be able to meet with us before he had to return to Washington to resume his work in the U.S. Senate. I'm not happy about this. I'm letting you, my fellow citizens, know about this because this experience has made it abundantly clear to me that most of our representatives in Congress are not going to confront this politically explosive reality of UFOs of non-human origin that are disabling our nuclear weapons, abducting our citizens against their will, repeatedly mutilating cattle and other large livestock, and engaging in range-fouling demonstrations of their craft within the training ranges of our U.S. military pilots, unless we American voters finally insist that they confront the UFO issue head on. So, how do we, the voting citizens of this great country, promote this change in this prevalent attitude among the elected representatives in Congress? We can do this by contacting them and letting them know that UFO truth and transparency is an important political issue for us. We must let them know that we want them to engage with the UFO issue in both their words and in their actions. We must let them know that we want their support of what is being called the Schumer Amendment, also referred to as the UAP Disclosure Act of 2023. That amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act of 2024 is already written, and it calls for the declassification of information related to UAP or UFOs through a review board of 9 U.S. citizens and the inclusion of that information within a special section of the National Archives. It calls for the pronouncement of U.S. government eminent domain over previously recovered UFO craft and materials. And it provides additional legal protections for any citizen of this country who will come forward with their firsthand information concerning their involvement with the program. Any who have been involved in the program will know what I'm talking about. The program refers to ongoing efforts administered through the U.S. Department of Defense through unacknowledged special access programs to reverse engineer recovered alien craft that courageous whistleblower David Grush has previously testified to under oath in front of Congress. To make this extremely easy for you, I want to bring to your attention a new website titled Declassify UAP. The web address is www.declassifyuap.org. There you will find a quick and easy letter that will be automatically emailed to each of your elected representatives in Congress by simply clicking on the Take Action button, filling in your name, filling in your email address, filling in your physical address, along with your zip code, and then hitting the send button. This literally takes less than 1 minute to do and costs you nothing other than 1 minute of your time. The letter makes it clear that we want most of the closely held information related to UFOs to be declassified, and we want to see action on this now. Please go to www.declassifyuap.org fill out the required information, and press the send button. If we flood the inboxes of our elected representatives in Congress with this letter, I believe we will see them respond to our messages with action to end the UFO cover up and usher in a new era of UFO transparency. I also want to take this opportunity to implore any person who has firsthand knowledge of the UFO reverse engineering programs that David Grush has testified about to please come forward with your information to members of Congress and through them to your fellow American citizens. We are depending on you. We need to finally get to the point where we can have truth and transparency about UFOs stemming from a non-human intelligence that are here and that are engaging with the human race on Earth in a non-hostile manner. The time for the truth about all of this has finally arrived. Thank you, one and all, for so much for taking your time to listen to this message. We can do this. Please go to www.declassifyuap.org now and send off your letter. God bless America.